Stay connected. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Cortland units, please stand by for an announcement. At this time, we would like to congratulate Patrol Officer Jesse Abbott on his retirement after a 21-year career of dedicated service to the city of Cortland. Officer Abbott started his law enforcement career in March of 2000 and served as a road patrol officer for 17 years. Jesse excelled at building relationships, drug investigations, and follow-up investigations. In 2017, Officer Abbott was named the City of Cortland's first community policing officer. In this role, Officer Abbott established the city's Office of Community-Oriented Policing. During his time performing the duties of this role, Officer Abbott served the citizens of the City of Cortland and the police department by building bonds and earning the trust of the community in an effort to help Cortland thrive. The amount of lives that have been positively affected and impacted by Officer Abbott's efforts is impossible to quantify. Simply put, Cortland is a better place as a result. Jesse, your commitment to the City of Cortland Police Department and your co-workers and the citizens of this community has been extraordinary. Your dedication, kindness, and personality will leave a lasting impression on the lives you have touched and impacted for years to come. We want to wish you a very long and happy retirement and good luck in your next chapter. Officer Abbott, badge number 40, we thank you for your 21 years of service, dedication, and kindness to your co-workers, dispatchers, and the residents of the City of Cortland. Congratulations to you and your family. 3121, Officer Jesse S. Abbott, you are officially out of service.
Hi, Jesse, do you have a message for your family watching at home?
Yeah, it's thank you for your love and support over the years, 21 years. It's been a long journey, but I love you guys, made it home safely, and on to new things. Thank you.
All right, thank you, officer. Thank you.
It's no harder, but we probably all have a hearing problem, and then it creates workers' comp problems and corporation problems. I don't need a microphone. I'm usually loud enough, and we're all here, obviously, and I want to welcome everybody and thank you for showing up. Completely amazing turnout, but extremely amazing. So we're going to have a few speeches, we're going to have a few presentations, and then we can have some pizza and some cake, okay? And I will open the floor at the end if there's somebody who wants to come up and say something personal about Jesse. Nice. All right? We might as well turn it into a roast. We spent 21 years roasting everybody else. So, guess what?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here, Jesse. You've had a distinguished career. For those of you who may not know, I've had the pleasure of being mayor for the city. This is my 10th year. And it was around when Chief Catalano had the opportunity to establish this position. It was a grant initially. We were very fortunate. Senator Jim Seward helped us with some additional funding. But Chief had a difficult decision to make because we've got an outstanding department with a lot of great people. And we knew that Jesse going into that position was going to be exceptional. What I didn't know is how he would be such a trailblazer and how he is, in my mind, kind of defined what we expect in terms of law enforcement. And our department as a whole has, I think, led and been role models throughout not just our community, but throughout the state. We've done a lot of things well, a lot of things right. And Jesse, in your role, you've helped everybody. I've watched him be a mentor. I've watched him reach out to people. I've watched him deal with very difficult situations and deal with them well. Maintain his patience. And I've said this to you before. If you ever decide to run for office, I would vote for you. So, just as a simple token of appreciation from the mayor's office, for volunteers, people who have impacted the city, we have these pins, and they have the city logo, and they're in the shape of a key. Because the key to our success as a community is what volunteerism does. And Jesse, you've contributed so much. Please take this as a humble sense of thanks. Thank you.
Chief Catalano, would you like to say a few words?
No, but I will.
You'd already told me no.
Step back, Paul. He's got an umbrella.
You're mentioning my name, so I figured I better.
I'm completely unprepared to say anything other than I've had the fortune of running a department with some excellent officers back when I took over, before I took over, and even now. And we've had specialty positions such as K-9 and school resource officer. Actually, the K-9 came after. Then we looked at the community-oriented policing program, and as the mayor said, we were lucky enough to get a grant. That was probably the easy part, and then the harder part was to choose which officers that were interested in blazing this program for us. It wasn't really a hard decision for me. I know Jesse earlier on wanted to be a K-9 officer, and that didn't work out because we used a little more experience for that position. So when this one came up, I said, this is Jesse's turn, and we gave him the position, and boy did he run with it. I had no idea. My door got knocked on so many times because he had this idea, and that idea, and this idea, and that idea, and it was, wow, slow down, Jesse, slow down a little bit. But he didn't, and he kept going, and he did some great things for the city and for the police department, and he really put us on the map. It must have been in the stars, because the year that we got the grant, only 2 agencies in New York State received that grant for community-oriented policing. So we were fortunate to get that. We were fortunate to have Jesse, and thank you for all.
Thanks. Thank you, Chief. DA Perfetti, would you like to say a few words?
Hide back there.
Thank you, Chief. I could only echo what our former chief had said. And coming in as a new DA just about 4.5 years ago, having a community-oriented police officer in place who was already there as a liaison between the department and the community was a good model for me to follow, because having been an attorney in private practice for a number of years, there's nothing that really teaches you how to do that. So to see that as a model and in play, and to make the decision when I came into office to be open that way, and to really take my office and design some things for community outreach, served as a good model. So, and on a personal note, I can say, and I don't know if Officer Abbott remembers this, but we did get a call at the house one time when we were on Melvin Avenue, My wife was certain that something nefarious was going on because there had been a bird in the backyard that had been torn apart, and she was concerned that it might have been vandals or something of that nature. Officer Abbott was the one who had given the call, and she had called me frantic, telling me what she thought was going on in the neighborhood. I said, well, what happened? She said, I don't know. She's like, he asked me for a bag and he cleaned it up and took it away. Well, that's not really what we expected him to do, but that's the kind of officer that he is. He saw a problem there and just fixed it. And that's probably, that was our personal experience, but I'm sure that that's been a lot of the 2 decades that he served this community. So, Officer Abbott, wherever you're going, it's their gain. And certainly the city's well. Thank you.
Well, I could stand here and echo the praise of Jesse like everybody else has, but I'm not going to. I didn't prepare. I addressed Jesse in a letter. So he goes with my thoughts. But without reiterating what everybody said, he's just a phenomenal person. He did things that we all admired. One of the biggest things he did was he made us smile during a dark time. Sometimes he made me cringe a little bit, his sense of humor, and it's like, that isn't going to look good. But I think that was part of his sense of humor, is let's see how much we can make the DC cringe. Because there were times in the middle of the night I would get a text or a message coming through, and after years of being in the detective bureau and being the lieutenant and working my way up, those middle of the night texts are usually not a good thing, and it's oh crap, what's going on? And I was always delighted that it was him, and I think that he usually did it just to get that reaction. So he has his unique sense of humor. But so I did address Jesse, and we are definitely losing an outstanding person. And when we can fill the position down the road, it'll be a tough choice because whoever it is will have to fill his shoes, and he certainly has left big footprints for everybody to follow. But I've been asked over and over about filling his spot, and right now we are just not, manpower-wise, we cannot pull somebody from the street to fill it. But at our soonest opportunity, when we get up to muster, we will certainly be filling his spot, and I'm sure Jesse will be leaving us a template that we can follow, and he will certainly assist the future officer. So without too much more ado, Jesse, we have a plaque for you. In sincere appreciation, presented to Police Officer Jesse S. Abbott in recognition of 21 years of honorable and distinguished service to the Cortland Police Department in the city of Cortland, New York. He worked from March 7, 2000 to July 16, 2021, 3 o'clock. I want to present it to you. This is my first retirement plaque as Chief of Police, so I'm honored to give it to you. Woo!
He's doing them like that too. Doing himself.
You guys just stare at her. So, believe it or not, I always never liked public speaking. You have to do it with this position. And I'm going to share with you a quick story, and some of you have heard it before, a different presentation, but about a year ago, my one son, Mason, in our car, we're driving around, he's like, Dad, are you expected to give a speech at this dinner tonight? I said, yeah, why do you ask? And he said, well, are you nervous at all? I'm like, well, I am a little nervous, but after a few minutes, I get used to it. But let me ask you, Mason, is there anything that, I can do to quell those nerves, to get rid of it? And he's like, Dad, without blinking, he says, Dad, I've always heard, just pretend everybody is naked in the audience. So I had to remind him that your grandparents and that your stepmother are going to be in God. So I do want to say thank you to everybody that came out today and everybody that's been behind my back for 21 plus years. We've had some bad times. We've had some tremendous times. That's just the nature of policing. It's always a roller coaster. But again, like I said in my speech over the radio, there was two things I always wanted to do during my shift. And that was to give at least one positive impact to somebody in the community that day, and also make sure that each and every one of you in uniform went home safe to your family. Because I know that you would do it for me. And I'm sure she's thankful, and my son, and my parents. So thank you everybody for coming out today. I'm never going to forget this day. I'm never going to forget the last 21 years. And it's been tremendous, and this is a great community. I know I'm not running for office. But thank you. I hope I have a chance to say hi and thank everybody that comes out to me today. But thanks again.
So on behalf of Aiden, Mason, and myself, I do want to thank the community and all of Jesse's sisters and brothers in blue for getting him home safe to us in his retirement. This community, I know, means a great deal to Jesse. He has a lot of passion and devotion that he has given to all of you, and I've seen it reciprocated that you have given to him. So it's, beyond imagination. It's bittersweet to have him retire because I know how much he loved his community and his work. But I'm really thankful that you allowed him to come safely to us, so thank you.
Is there anybody that would like to roast Jesse?
We all know the repercussions.
Good point. He's far better at Facebook than I am.
He doesn't get even. He's way ahead.
His brother-in-law and fellow officer, Ben Locke, would like to say a few words along with his sister Kelly.
No, goodness. For those who don't know me, I'm Ben Locke, and this is my wife, Kelly Locke. Kelly is Jesse's sister. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I think Kelly would like to say a few words when I'm done. But the 2-week road is kind of sprung on us real quick, and so I knew I wanted to do something for Jesse. And it kind of got, the idea was spearheaded by a hunting trip this past fall at a co-worker's property. And Jesse took a liking to this certain rifle. And with the help of numerous people, and I'll mention their names in a second, we made this happen for him. So we'll present that in a minute, but I just would like to thank a few people who made this possible for us. Jesse's parents, Scott and Abbott, Kenny and Crystal Bush, Chief Sandy, Charbel, Steve Jones, and the last two people here really made this possible in the short time frame that we had. Milt Sebring, Crown City Guns and Ammo, and Tony Imprado, the owner of Henry Firearms, made this possible. So without that, this 2-week notice that Jesse gave us would not have been possible. So I hope I said everything that I needed to say, and you want to say a few words before we go.
We were at dinner last night and talking, for the years that things were doing that. When you graduated from the academy, my brother presented to Ben, and that's the two guys today. And I don't know how that is to you, but also Ben said to me last night, he has this group of guys that he knows has his back, but having Jesse lead.
Well, I've been fortunate because Jesse's my brother-in-law, and so, maybe it's an advantage, I don't know. But he supported me countless times with advice and guidance through the years, and so, you know, a lot of guys don't have that when they start this career, so I'm just thankful for that. And so, a lot of things with this. What do you mean? So,
February?
no. So we got you a Henry big boy. Ooh, you're crazy.
Yeah.
44 Mac.
Oh.
Yeah, baby. This was something that the owner of Henry got us in a very short period of time, which would have taken months. But because of the short notice, we couldn't get it great, and but we'll be taking this back from you shortly to send back to Henry to have it great.
It's a little plug, American made too. So. That's tremendous. That's unbelievable. Believe it or not, when I first got hired, I never shot a gun. I never owned a gun, and kind of had a lot of guns sprung on me that once I acquired a few now. And this is beautiful. This is amazing. So thank you very much to everybody who had a hand in this. I just want to say that. Boy. Put this.
We have the ammo, man.
Good.
Well, when Ben told me what they had been working on and invited me to participate, and then he told me the caliber, I can only imagine it would be fired once, and it's going into a closet or something. So I talked to Ben, and I said we should get him a wall rack, particularly since they're having it personally engraved for him to display in his man cave or wherever he can. So in 2 days, the owner of Henry got us a custom display case. That's awesome.
It is.
And it's made for that right there.
Yeah, perfect.
Can we see? That one was a good shot.
Actually, I want to know who's responsible for this now.
Well, if you notice, I have the keys to that car. And because we know how Jesse is, he always snoops and tries to figure out something ahead of us. So I figured I'd put everything in there and lock it up. As I said, Jesse has a unique sense of humor, and usually it's at the expense of somebody else. And he's very good with the computer and Photoshop and so forth. So I called Bliss and I said, "What kind of cake does Jesse like?" And she goes, "I really want a cake." So I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, wait a minute." I said, "Well, what will he eat?" She goes, "Well, he likes ice cream." Right here. So we're waiting, and I said, "Well, I'll get Jesse an ice cream cake." And he really says, "Congrats, Jesse, on it. So use your own little personal cake." But I figured we all deserved a little cake. And being that it was going to be 90, that wasn't going to last long. So I had a cake made for everybody else with Jesse in mind. And I did have some co-conspirators in this. So if you all can take a look at this cake.
Oh my God, George did that.
What I'm being told is this is not photo.
Oh, whatever.
Because of the great father he is, he would dress up and hide Easter eggs for his children. And Liz took this photo of him last Easter. And I said, "This is so fitting because this is what he does for community service too. He puts himself on the line to give everybody the best he can to get a smile.
And he's running this today.
And so I did have some co-conspirators list and got this photo. And,
Wonderful. Thank you.
Closing, I do want to say, I want to echo that, it's kind of been touched on by Ben and by Liz and Kelly and so forth, that, this is more than a career. We are more than co-workers, we are family. So, when we lose one, we take it to heart. So you're always welcome. Come back. We got a little bit of a crisis now, so we can always put you on a ship, but actually, I think that's where I was leaving. So, no further ado, there's food. Please take an opportunity to say hi to Jesse. There's food, there's cake, and thank you all for coming. Good job, Jesse.
Stay connected. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.